In this video, we're setting up a site-to-site network using IP services in CloudConnexa. Let's start by looking at the network diagram. We have our headquarters on one side and our branch office on the other side. So the goal is to connect them so that devices at both sides can reach each other securely through CloudConnexa. As you can see, I'm on the CloudConnexa admin portal. The first step is connecting our networks to CloudConnexa. For that, let's go ahead and expand networks and click on networks. As you can see, I've already connected my headquarters to CloudConnexa. So let's click on add network and choose site to site for our branch office. We're going to connect our branch office to CloudConnexa. We're going to give it a name. We'll call it CC branch. And then for the connector, we use the OpenVPN protocol. And let's give a name to our connector as well. So I'm just going to call it CC branch. Our resources are in Boston. So we're going to choose Boston here for the region and then click on next. This is where we're going to choose where we want to deploy our connector in our branch office. I have a Linux machine, so I choose Linux for operating system. And then I need to choose the Linux distribution. I have an Ubuntu. So let's click on drop down and choose Ubuntu 24.04. And we can see the script that we need to run on our Ubuntu machine. I'm going to copy this. I have an SSH session going on, and I'm going to paste that in my terminal. Here we go. And hit enter. This is going to take a few seconds, so let's go ahead and fast forward through this part, and we're going to come back and continue. Well, we're done with this part. Now you can see that it's asking for a token, setup token. Go back to CloudConnexa admin portal. We can click on generate token here, and here we go. We're going to copy this and then paste it in our terminal. Here we go, and hit enter. And we are done. I'm going to clear the board here, and let's go back to our CloudConnexa, click on next. And we can see that our connector is connected and we're getting green light. Click on next here. So here we can see our allocated WPC subnets and domain routing subnets. We need to make a note of these two subnets, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. So let's go ahead and bring the slides back on. Now that we added our branch office to CloudConnexa, we can see that our connector IP address is assigned here. That's the IP that CloudConnexa uses to route traffic between the two networks. At this time, we also need to take care of the static routes on each side. So basically, we'll need to add routes to each network's local routing tables on your routers or firewalls, so they know how to reach the remote subnet through the CloudConnexa IPs. For example, you can see on the screen the headquarter network needs a routing pointing to the branch subnet via the headquarter connector's IP. And then the branch network needs matching routes back to the headquarter subnets. Now, we also need to add the WPC subnet and domain routing subnet, as I mentioned in a second ago. So we need to add those to the routing table as well. So I suggest that you refer to manufacturers' documentation to learn about how to add or configure your IP tables on your routers or firewalls. If you are using cloud services such as Azure or AWS, you also need to configure the route table. For example, on AWS VPCs, as you can see, if you have two VPCs that we're trying to set up site to site, this is how we set up the routes. For the VPC that is considered our headquarter, this is how we set up the routing and for the branch as well. So let's go back to our CloudConnexa admin portal. Also, I need to mention here that if you click on this link that says view routes of other networks, we can see the routes that is being set for our other networks. In our case, it's going to be our headquarter. We can see that in our headquarter, we have a server that we're using SMB ports for the files. Go back to CloudConnexa admin portal, click on next. We can add applications here so the users can use application name or domain name for resources, but we're talking about IP services here. So I'm going to bypass this and click on next. And now we need to add our IP services. So the IP services are defined as access to a specific IP address range and protocols of a network. So that can be one resource, multiple resources, or you can create a route to a whole network. If you create a route to a whole network, you just want to let the protocols settings to set as all. And we're going to see that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add IP Service, and we're going to give it a name here. I'm going to call it Apps. And for protocols, if you click on it, you can customize the protocols. And as I said, for this one, we're going to create a route, so give access to everything, all the resources on this network. So I'm just going to leave it as is. And then we're going to type our subnet here. And here we go. And then we're going to click on Add IP Service. Now, if you're doing it one at a time, then we can add our resources one at a time. Click on Next. This is where you can set up the access groups. For now, I'm just going to leave it as default and click on Finish. And we can see our branch office is connected. Now, if you go to headquarters, we can see that we have access to one server. As I mentioned earlier, the ports are SMB ports, so this is a file server. But if you need to configure the ports, we can do that here. Click on Edit and then edit the ports. For example, here, we're going to add all the ICMP ports. Click on Submit and then update IP services. All done. So our site-to-site is up. Let's go ahead and test the connection. I have a server in my headquarters. Let's do an IP config. And we can see the address here is 192.168.15.137. So let's see if we can ping our branch office. So I'm going to ping the IP address of my web server in my branch office, which is 10.0.8.63. And we can see that we're getting reply back. Now, if we do it the other way from our branch office, we ping this server, we should get reply back as well. That's 137, and we're getting reply back as well. So to summarize this, let's talk about what actually happens when we send a ping from the headquarter network to something in the branch network, like our web server at 10.0.8.63, or vice versa. The packet starts off in the headquarter LAN. It wants to reach the 10.0.8.63, which isn't part of the local subnet. My router checks its routing table and sees a static route that says, hey, anything distant for the 10.0 can be reached through the connector. Then the connector works like a software router. It takes that packet and routes it to CloudConnexa over the VPN tunnel. When the connector originally established the VPN tunnel, it was automatically pushed the route to the 10.0 subnet. So it knows that anything in that range should go through the tunnel. Once the packet reaches CloudConnexa, CloudConnexa looks at its configuration and sees there is an IP service that includes the 10.0 subnet. That IP service tells CloudConnexa that traffic for that range should go to the branch network's connector. CloudConnexa forwards the packet to the branch connector, which again acts like a software router. It receives the packet, recognizes that 10.0 subnet is a part of its local LAN, and sends it directly to the web server. The response then follows the exact same path in reverse, from the web server to the branch connector, through the CloudConnexa, back to the headquarter connector, and finally to the original client. For more information, you can visit our website, openvpn.net. On the Resources tab, we have documentations and tutorials.